can be only one bag of potato chips. Welcome to a Saturday morning Samo Flange.
What are
I'm
you
Matt.
talking about? You're mixing up the openers again.
Yeah, but I said potato chips.
Bag of
'cause
potato chips.
We had a bag of potato chips.
Oh my gosh. Why is it that potato chips are so good?
Crinkety.
These scientists spend millions of dollars discovering what is the perfect level of combination of crispy and crunchy that somehow doesn't fill you at all or satisfy you at all, and they just make us fat.
Now, this bag is sour cream and onion, which I do love.
Amazing.
But the Ruffles sour cream, onion, and cheddar.
Oh no!
I think that's the best of both worlds,
not the
no?
cheddar. No, gosh, no!
Okay.
Get out of here with the sour cream and onion and cheddar.
What's your favorite flavor? Then?
Sour cream and onion.
Oh, I mean that's classic. It's good.
You don't mess with it with the cheddar.
All right, don't mess with it with the cheddar.
Don't
then.
mess with my cheddar, bro.
Yeah. Today.
This
Top
morning,
5 movies.
on Saturday morning,
This morning, top 5 movies we thought we wouldn't like but did.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how I'm going to
How are we
going
going to title this?
Top 5.
Top 5 movies.
Most surprising movies, I
Okay.
guess. Or how about that?
Top 5 movies that should have been crap because they
Yeah.
weren't Scottish.
These were the ones that I complained the most about before they hit play.
Oh, I know what your number 1 is now.
Yeah. There will be no crossover between us.
No, there will be no crossover.
But you know what mine is. I know what yours is.
What?
I know what one of yours is. Here, I'll write it down just to show. I'll reveal it once you say it.
Okay. I hope I didn't leave it out because I struggled to make a list this week with this one.
It's down.
I looked at a couple of lists that were similar. You know, sometimes we come across a topic that occasionally I'll have to go to an IMDb
Google,
post or
yeah.
something or Google it or whatever.
After I do my top 5, I'll Google and see if I missed anything. And
Oh,
if I
yeah?
didn't, then I'll keep
That's
it.
interesting. I mean, but I'm happy to say that of all the episodes of Saturday Morning Samo Flange that we've recorded, that maybe 2 or 3 I've actually used the internet to go find topics with. Almost all of my top 5s are like, oh yeah, I got this one. Here you go.
Sometimes the internet provides me with honorable mentions. At times, it has provided me with one I've forgotten.
Yeah, exactly.
But usually, when I write down my top 5, that's basically it. Not that I am open to hear other
Of
ones.
course,
In fact,
yeah, we wanna hear
someone may
more.
change my mind.
Right.
But we all go into. But I remember the ones that I complained about the most. One on this channel
Yeah.
prior to seeing it.
Uh-huh.
So my you go ahead and start.
Yeah,
this
let
time.
me start with my crappy list. I'll throw an honorable mention out there because it got bumped out as I thought of one. But the internet has several examples of The Edge of Tomorrow should have been a crappy movie with Tom Cruise and just a rare crappy. We've talked about The Edge of Tomorrow before and how much we loved it and everything
Excellent.
else. So that's an honorable mention that I'll throw out there too because it should have been bad.
Okay.
Now, my number 5 is when I was with Carrie in Oregon. You remember
Yep.
Carrie? And she made me sit down and watch Kung Fu Hustle.
And you were not.
And I was like, what is this? What am I? I had never seen a stylized Kung Fu movie like that before. And the first 5 minutes, they're dancing to this big band song and stuff,
Yeah.
where there's people getting killed and it's subtitled. And I'm like, oh man, I don't want to watch this. This is, I wasn't in the mood.
The Axe Gang. Yeah.
Yeah, the Axe Gang is showing up, and then I'm like, what is happening? And then maybe halfway through the movie, I was like, this is absolutely brilliant. And it is to this day one of my absolute favorites. If anybody has not seen Kung Fu Hustle, please do yourself a favor.
It is amazing. And you're right. The opening, you just don't
If
understand
you
the
don't
tone.
know what's happening, you're not going to get through the first 20 minutes and you're going to miss it. Like, you're never going to understand the joy that is Kung Fu Hustle. So you've got to give it the first 45 minutes. And it's not like, I'm not saying that the first 45 minutes are bad. It's just going to take you about that long to realize what the movie is. And then when you watch it again, you're going to love the first 45 minutes because then you see how the story builds, because that story builds and builds and builds and builds. And it's like you start off with a villain who's beating up cops, and then that guy gets beat up by another bad guy, and then the frog keeps eating the bigger frog, and there's always a bigger fish, as Liam Neeson would say.
It's so good.
It is one of the greatest films.
It is so good.
And I adore it now.
Yeah.
And I went into it thinking this is gonna be crap.
And the thing is, even when it gets to the most ridiculous moments, the rundown
It is so good.
is so good. It's my favorite scene.
It is so incredibly good. I want to go back. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm posing as one of the scenes.
Just
there.
talking about it, honestly, I want to watch it tomorrow. Like, I'm serious.
I'm doing scenes from it here.
Yeah.
All right, but one of my favorite scenes is, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone then, but the instrument ring.
Yes. Oh,
the musical notes.
The assassins playing
yeah. The leaf.
Yeah,
the pot,
and all
and
slow
then
motion.
off camera, the cat, the shadow of the cat. It's
the slow motion, just the cat goes and everything.
The cat's on the screen, jumps off the screen, you still fall in shadow, and then it's so smart.
It's brilliant.
It is such a smart movie.
Brilliant.
It is wild because it slaps. It's Looney Tunes, Kung Fu, but everyone's playing it straight.
Straight, exactly.
And the thing is, it artistically is beautiful. It's beautiful to look at.
It's even today. It's a good movie.
At the very end. Mm-hmm. The very end is beautiful.
But I love that you really don't get what the story is until your second time through, because you just have to realize that the villain of the story just grows from moment one. And then it just gets bigger and badder and bigger and badder and bigger and badder.
It's
how are they
leveling
possibly
up to the master boss?
Yes, exactly. And then it's just as soon as you think you've hit the master boss, you're like, no, you just wait.
Wow,
it's so good.
All right, so that's a good one. Number 5 was one that Megan made me sit down and watch. I did not want to watch this.
So far we're 2 for 2 that our wives or ex-wives were the ones who were like, hey.
And she was just like, no, you got to watch this. It was back Pixar, but I felt they were losing their touch over time. I said, I do not want to watch this. This looks like garbage. And after sitting down and watching Coco, I was like,
oh, no kidding.
That was really good.
Wow. So this is just a year or two ago now.
Well, I mean, Coco came out actually longer than that, surprisingly enough. Yeah, it's an older, again, I wouldn't say older movie, but the
for
thing
Pixar,
is, though,
at least.
The thing is, though, I was surprised. It didn't look good. The cover looked terrible.
I don't know if I've seen it, to be
ads
honest.
looked terrible. The song in it is beautiful. Remember Me is so good. And it's got a nice, heartwarming moment at the end. Like Pixar still has it in movies that you wouldn't think they did. It's very colorful. It's Day of the how they celebrate the Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah,
just all those colors and that theme. And of course, he accidentally, the living goes into the land of the dead, and he has to get back to living.
Now I remember. Yeah,
but it is so brilliant. Yeah. It is so with a nice little twist at the end. And the thing is, the whole time, I did not want to see that movie. I was mad that I was just like, oh, it's going to suck. And I was like, wow, that was way better.
Yeah.
Like the song Remember Me is beautiful, but do you remember it now? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. Yep.
Okay, the grandma at the end, when he plays that song for her and she remembers it because she was a little girl when her father played it for her.
Yeah,
and so he plays the song. It's beautiful. That's a great moment. And
that is heart-touching.
Coco was one that I was just adamantly against watching. Pouted about it in the couch.
Had you had some bad Pixar experiences that you remember that led up to Coco or something like that?
I mean, there's Toy Story 4, but I mean, Cars 2.
As discussed last week on Saturday Morning Cinema Plan.
Cars 2 was nothing to write home about.
No, Cars 2 was forgettable. I forgot they even made it.
I can't remember what else had come out, but a few other ones had come out, and it was like, meh. You know, I mean, like not bad.
Especially because Pixar was hit after hit after hit after hit for a while.
And then for a while, it got to be where, okay, it wasn't the best, but it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, and so I felt like now's the time where the quality was going down, and it wasn't. And I'll be honest, Pixar could still be on here because Onward I did not want to see. I thought Onward was great.
Yeah.
Luca.
Oh yeah, Luca.
That was good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
That was good. No, it was decent. I was like, wow. And then there's been some ones I thought were meh. You know, just not that good.
And then there was the garbage of The Incredibles Part 2, which was...
Oh, man.
Talk about an episode that I missed last week on Saturday Morning Cinema Plans. The Incredibles Part 2 should never have been made.
My brother with Thanos snapped that one. That may be his number
Thanos
one.
that snapped that Incredibles 2 out of here. I think we saw that in the movie theater together. Like, I was with you and your brother when we saw that, and it was so disappointing.
So disappointing. Because you were so excited because you thought if they wait this long...
Because The Incredibles is one of my all-time favorites.
One.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, sorry, we don't even backtrack too much into last week's episode.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me. Now, this is movies that shouldn't have been good, or how are we calling this?
Well, I mean, that surprised us.
That surprised us, yeah. I like that.
Because these are the ones I complained the most vocally about.
Well, speaking of last week's episode of Saturday Morning Cinema Flange, we talked about this, and it's Signs. Because I remember...
Oh, you were not?
No, I was not interested. And I remember the only reason we went to see Signs is because of the air conditioner. It was playing during the summer. It's Louisiana. It's
Yeah.
very hot, and
Just
they
get out
have
of the
that
heat.
industrial level air conditioning.
anything. Just buy a ticket.
anything.
Give me
Didn't
a
care.
ticket for anything.
No, seriously, it was me and Carrie and Kim and Tony and a handful of
Wow.
others, and none of us knew what the movie was about. None of us cared. We were just so hot and tired of being hot, and we just went to see we didn't care. We're like, we're not going to go see that. We're not going to go see that. So look, this one's left. And we saw Signs and walked out of there giddy because of how fun the ending was with the swing away. What is the name? Swing away. Morgan.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's so good.
and it was just so fun to talk about, and we just the unexpected M. Night Shyamalan twists. You know, when he had it, when he still had it, kind of thing.
still had
that alien reaching underneath the door
So
when he's
scary.
looking through the knife, that will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
like,
great scene.
That was an audible scream from almost everybody in the theater. It was fantastic.
Without showing the monster.
No, didn't
Great.
show the monster. Scared the bejesus out of you. Yes,
Great. I
exactly.
agree.
So, but Signs was a huge
Wow.
surprise for me.
Huge surprise
So,
for me.
did you walk into Signs like expecting a good movie?
Because I like M. Night, I was hoping for something. So I was
Okay.
more optimistic going into it.
Okay. All right.
But for me, I'm getting into my number 4 because my number 4 was one on this podcast. First of the year, we talk about top 5 movies we're looking forward to seeing.
Yes.
My
Always,
anticipated
yep,
movies. That's always tradition. There was something, I said my top 5. I said one thing that is not on the top 5 anymore because the movie's been delayed for 3 years, and now I have
Top
no
Gun
interest in
Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
That's right here on my list. You're telling me it's not your number one?
It is not my number 1.
That's what I had as your number one.
But because it was public, it was on the podcast. I said, I'll watch it when it comes out streaming.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to. I said, because that movie, I've lost all excitement.
I know.
I said everything.
We
And
talked
then
about it for like 2 years.
After a few months of it being in theaters, I went, let's go see it. So Megan and I went to go see it. I think people, because that was back when we were getting out of COVID.
Yeah.
And I think people were just like,
It was just the
wanting to
mad
say,
rush. Please
Mad
give us a
Rush,
movie.
We love it. We love anything that moves on the picture
Right,
screen.
right.
And I thought that was a little bit. I thought it was probably gonna be an okay movie, but not like. "Meh." And when I walked out, I was like, "Oh wow, that was really good. That was better than the first one." And Megan goes, "That's one of the few Tom Cruise. She hates Tom Cruise, but she likes that
no
movie.
kidding. She likes Maverick, though. Wow.
She likes Top Gun Maverick. And so that's got to be on here because that was on public record that I went on saying I have zero desire to see it.
Yep.
Not only did I see it, but it was at the end of the year, one of my top 5 movies of the
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
So to go
Yeah.
from I have no
No
desire
interest to top
say, I think
5.
I said I will not see this.
Because the year prior, or 2 years prior, it was one of your most anticipated movies.
And then it just fell off the button, and I got tired of it. Oh, it's going to come out someday. Because usually major delays.
Usually
mean
when
it's
that
not
happens
good.
means
Yeah.
it's a garbage movie. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to bury it before it even comes out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, so there you go. Number 3.
That was your number 4?
That was number 4.
Oh, I can't wait to see what the rest of your list
Oh
is.
man, there's some good ones here.
All right. My number 3 is Stranger Than Fiction, which is a Will Ferrell movie.
yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people have you would love Will Ferrell, you hate Will Ferrell, whatever.
This is not zany.
Is
Will Ferrell.
no zany
No.
Will Ferrell. Stranger Than Fiction is actually one of my favorite movies.
It's
ever.
great.
It's terrific.
It's excellent.
Emma Thompson is a genius in everything she does, and Will Ferrell really does a terrific job as a dramatic part, not being Will Ferrell at all.
No.
And anyone who's ever seen a Will Ferrell movie or comedy sketch should just take all of that and throw it in the garbage and watch this film, because it is a really wonderful story about he is a character in one of her books. Like Emma Thompson is writing a book, and he is the real life version of it, and she doesn't realize that he exists. And Dustin Hoffman's in it, and it's an all-star cast, and it's terrific story. First of all, terrific plot, cool twist. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a story like that. First of all, nor since. The acting is top notch, and even from Will Ferrell, top notch. It's really terrific.
When you have an actor play a straight role, a comedian play a straight role and put in a good movie, that's rare.
Not just a comedian, he's an absurdist comedian.
Yeah,
Like
well,
absolutely next level absurd.
I got another one for you. Even though he made a few other straight movies too, but Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind
Jim Carrey
is
has
just
got
wonderful.
Yes, it's in that vein.
It's in that vein where he's not doing anything funny.
Nothing Jim Carrey got famous
It's
for.
nothing Jim Carrey, not the wacky, crazy, zany Jim Carrey characters.
Totally agree.
It plays it straight, and it's a great story, but beautiful acting all the way through. Great supporting cast.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
That
Stranger
is the
Than Fiction
perfect
has.
analogy for what that is. And a lot of people have seen Eternal Sunshine, but they have not seen Stranger Than Fiction. And
It's-
if you
it's on par.
liked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
on par.
Mind, you will like, I think, Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, I heartily agree with that. 100%.
That's my unexpected, like, whoa, this is really terrific.
Okay. A few years ago, my roommate, Clay, asked me if I'd seen a movie. And I said no, because
Disney bought it, and I'm never watching those again.
No, I just said no. I said no because I'm a man and I don't watch romantic movies.
I
that
don't
girls
watch rom-coms on purpose unless I'm on a date.
I said no, and I don't watch Little House on the Prairie either.
Ah.
And he goes, dude, it's a great movie.
Dude.
It's a great movie, you guys. I said, I'm not going to see it, Clay. And we went to Blockbuster,
Yes.
and I was physically embarrassed when he asked, do you have Lonesome Dove? I was physically, I was red-faced.
You were hurting.
Shamed. I felt like this was the end of how dare I walk out of this
Yeah.
room with Lonesome Dove.
Am I gay now?
Watching it with this guy. Because the guy looked at us, he went, y'all are renting Lonesome Dove. And I was just like pissed. I was like, he wants to watch it. I pointed at him. He's like, hey, shut up. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I was like, no. Now, on VHS, Lonesome Dove came out in like a 4-pack.
Yeah, it was a 4-pack. It was a massive,
It's a
epic.
big, epic
Yeah.
series. So,
I think it was a 6-pack even. Like, it
maybe
was
so,
huge.
but it had Robert Duvall
Yeah.
and Tommy Lee Jones. Now, here's the thing. Those are iconic actors.
They're the only reason to watch Lonesome Doves.
And the thing is, Lonesome Dove is excellent.
Yeah.
And it's slow burn.
It's slow burn.
It moves off the back of great characterization in situations as they're making their plight through the Midwest.
Yep.
And that's all it is. And it's not big epic wars and fires and
No,
explosions and
no.
love it.
It's about the story of the characters, though.
It's a story rolling on the characters, and they are so they hook you in.
So real.
They're so real. They're so relatable.
Yeah.
And then these situations that aren't really, how do we get across the river, is a situation for,
for a good chunk of it,
20
yeah.
minutes. And you're wondering, how are they going to get across the river?
Yeah.
Dude, they're getting across the river. Who cares? How are they going to travel around?
It's Oregon Trail for real.
Yeah, but it's wonderful because such strong
it's way
characters.
better than Oregon Trail.
And the whole time I was going, see, I told you. And it was slowly dawning on me that I was going to have to apologize to him.
Yeah. Because you had plenty of time.
Didn't. I just said, okay.
By the time tape 4 goes in, you're like, I'm going to have to apologize.
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
But I remember physically embarrassed. Embarrassed
That's
for
a
him.
good story. I like
embarrassed for
I like
me
the
that we
rental
went to
story,
a
yeah.
Blockbuster and asked for it. I was just red-faced.
Yeah.
I felt like, here's my man card too, while you're asking for my Blockbuster card.
I'm
Just
going to have
shred
to send this portion of the episode to my sister Kim because she was the one who made me watch Lonesome Dove. And that was her and my other sister, Sissy's, their big movie of the summer. And they're like, oh, you got to sit down and watch this. And I watched it, and I fell in love with it, too. It was like, these are terrific. But you hit it spot on. Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones, like, they're terrific.
They're
master
iconic.
classes at
They
acting.
They
yeah.
are those characters.
Oh, man, so
and you
perfect.
don't even see Tommy Lee Jones. You don't see Robert Duvall.
No.
You see
You
their
don't see the
characters.
stars.
And that, when the star fades and the character comes out, that's wonderful.
Totally agree. And that's
Wonderful.
what every star
Masterclass.
They say they worry about that, and they don't want to be
Tom Cruise
they don't
playing
want to be
this guy
Tom
or
Cruise
something.
playing Tom Cruise, right? Yeah. If you can become that other character, that's what every actor dreams about, I think. Even if you're well known and famous, you want to let that go away.
And it's just so good.
That's a perfect example. What a great pick.
Yeah.
I love that one.
All right, number 2?
Number 2 for me. I was up in Minnesota when this movie came out. This was not on the radar. This was very much I think it was a 4th date movie or a 5th date movie with this girl. And we were like, let's just go to the movies. We're in Minnesota. It's cold. And you know what? Maybe I'd make a lot of my movie decisions based on the weather because before Signs was really hot and now this one was really cold, I think. But we went to see Guardians of the Galaxy, which no one had ever heard of.
Yeah.
No one had
You didn't
ever
know
heard of
these
these characters at
yeah.
all. And I was like, well, it's a Marvel movie. And, Marvel's got some good stuff. And maybe it'll be good, but it probably won't be. So let's just go watch this. And then we'll go get dinner after that because we'll go to the early show at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we went to the 3 o'clock in the afternoon show of Guardians of the Galaxy. freaking fantastic. The first one, like that could have gone on last week's episode of Saturday Morning Sam Flanch as well, that they should have never made another sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy because the rest of them have been forgettable to me. But that first one is terrific. An absolutely wonderful intro, especially with brand new characters, offbeat characters that nobody knew. And that was a real win for Marvel, like because I think Iron Man had just finished, and some of the other more popular,
the
bigger ones had just wrapped, and so we're like, "What is this garbage?"
Yeah,
never Guardians of the what? And then it shows up and just lit up. And then the cool thing was the girl that I was dating wasn't a nerd, and she wasn't following any of the Marvel stuff at all, and she loved it. So it like hit all the nerd notes, and it hit the non-nerd notes, and just really resonated because it was a good story, well acted. But I remember going into it thinking, can we just hurry this movie up so that I can go home and take this girl and make out with her later? That's all I cared about at that point. And but man, I'm telling you, it was terrific. Like we almost wanted to go back into the theater and watch it again.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome. My number dos is a movie. I told my group, I was in the apartment. It was Friday night. You go to Blockbuster, you get a movie, right? That's what you do. And I told the group, so y'all go. I'm gonna
re-rent Lonesome Dove.
I'm gonna clean up here. They went. They brought. I said, "What movie?" You were having a bunch of people over. You sent 2 people to go get a movie.
You send them to get the movie. Yeah.
They come back. What'd you get? I mean, it's been 40 minutes, but you don't care because it takes 40 minutes to an hour to pick out a movie. I said, "What'd you get?"
My, how times have changed.
And when they showed me the movie, I got up and said, "I'd rather read a book in my room."
Y'all go back to the store.
I said, "That is the dumbest." I said, "Please, I do not want." And they begged me, "Mom, come on to the." I said, "This is the dumbest waste of time movie." After watching Major Payne, I went and bought one of the previewed copies for $4.99. I went with them back to Blockbuster because it didn't close till midnight or something.
You went back that night?
Went back that night and bought it.
You're like, I'm buying this right
I said,
now.
I'm buying this. I could not. The cover looks like a bunch of kids. I get it. A bunch of kids seek revenge on their teacher.
Right.
Woo! For the 14th time. I mean, I've seen this movie a billion times. Yeah. No. It looks like it's cheesy
plot of
Disney
every 80s movie for
garbage
sure.
crap. Mm-hmm. And at the opening, I'm not knowing what to get. And then he gets to the kids' camp, and it's one of the most hilarious movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I could not believe how good it was. I could not believe, and I was like, I got to go buy this movie right now.
That's an excellent.
I went from I did not.
You were going to read your book.
I was going to read a book in the room. I did not want. I was mad at them. It was like,
how dare you call yourself my friend?
Jack had traded my cow for magic beans.
What is this, beans?
And I was like, beans?
We were going to have spaghetti.
I was so mad that they had gotten that movie after all the anticipation of any movie they could have gotten. That was the one.
Major freaking pain.
And
that night,
instead
of apologizing to them, you went and bought it for yourself.
Went back, bought a copy. Yeah.
Well, that fits into the vibe of my number one for sure. I mean, it's not as good probably as Major Payne, but Dude, Where's My Car? Actually ended up being a movie that should not have been good and that I was so surprised about. And is Dude, Where's My Car on the list?
No, it's not. I was wrong.
What's on the list?
I will tell you later.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But honestly, Dude, Where's My Car was the first movie that came to mind. I wouldn't call it a good movie today. The reason it's number one on my list is because of the experience that I had watching it. Because it was one of those after a theater show, like we were performing up at Strauss. And then typically, especially after a big musical, when you're 21 years old and you have 50 of your friends all in the same show and you finish up a sold out show to the theater and everybody's clapping and cheering and the adrenaline is still pumping, you can't go to bed. And so you're 22 years old and you just go hang out with your friends and you stay up all freaking night. You get some Sonic or IHOP, or not, IHOP wasn't even around, whatever's open. And then you just pile up into somebody's living room and you watch a movie.
The good old days.
And then you all, cram up onto a couch and there's 25 people in this living room. And
that's exactly how life was back then.
And it's the way it went. And then that was one of those nights. And we watched Dude, Where's My Car? And I mean, we were crying, rolling around, laughing.
Fun.
Part of it was the delirium. Part of it was the friendship. Part of it was the coming down from the high of an excellent show that we had just finished, and we were just proud of ourselves and just happy about it and living the best life. But man, I will never forget that night.
That's great.
I think it was at Mickey Cannon's house too.
Wow.
And just had such a terrific time with that entire group. All the classic names from our our youth, I guess. When maybe you were there, maybe I don't know. You were around, but
I don't know. I mean, I did see the movie. I just don't remember where I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did hang out after parties a lot back then.
And so,
So I
either
could've
way,
been there.
that was one of the best after parties. Was watching that stupid. I don't think I've ever watched that movie again. But I do
Yeah.
remember thinking, "Are you guys serious? Really? You want to ruin this great night we just had
the
with
stupid
this
movie?
piece of junk movie?" And then we all had so much fun with. Wasn't Dude, Where's My Car? It was the one where and they're like, Dude, what's mine say? Sweet, and then they got the two tattoos that were Dude and Sweet, yeah. And it shouldn't have been funny. It shouldn't have been funny at all. And then isn't that the And Then movie where
Maybe.
they're ordering
And
the Chinese food? And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's Dude, Where's My Car as well. And it shouldn't have been funny.
And it was.
But somehow it was.
Somehow
And it was tied up with a really great memory with some really great people. And so that's by far my number one. And I'm curious if anybody has a number one or something we've omitted as far as these top films. Like if that's the same situation, like is one of the reasons that a movie that you think you thought going into it, this is going to be garbage. Is it because of the company you kept, or was it because of the situation that you were in? Because for me, one of my movies was It's Way Too Hot. One of them was It's Way Too Cold. And then now I'm way too tired.
All right,
And so-
Goldilocks.
Yeah, I know,
This
right?
is just right.
Exactly.
This movie is just right.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So that's my top
Okay,
five.
I got my number one.
What
but
did I omit?
I thought that La La Land would be on there.
Yeah, I mean,
But not anymore. There's other memories that hit better than that.
Yeah, and I'll tell
That's
you,
fine.
La La Land could have started off that way. I was desperately in love with somebody at the time, and they were there, and so like literally,
I get it. I get it.
It wouldn't have mattered. I was going to watch it with them because they wanted to watch it, sort of
get it.
thing. So
I get it.
my judgment was compromised.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I understand that completely. The memories is what drive these stories.
Yes,
My number one
hit me.
is because I love it so much.
I cannot believe it's not Top Gun Maverick.
And this movie I just love so much.
But you
I
went
had
into it.
Zero desire to see it.
Okay.
What had happened was we went to the theater to see one of the billion Spider-Man movies. I cannot remember which one it was.
Sure.
It was one of the newer ones.
Okay.
The first or the second one. Anyway, we wanted to see that movie. This is back before preferred seating. This is 2017, and they oversold tickets or theater hoppers so the theater was full,
Completely full.
and I was like, this is garbage. And we went in there, complained. They said, well, would you like a ticket for something else? And I was pissed. So no, I came here to watch Spider-Man, get the fakers out of there, but they couldn't because too many people jumping around in opening weekend. And CJ and Emily were there, and they said, hey, we're going to go see this other movie. You should come see it with us.
I feel like I've heard this story, but I
And
can't
Megan
remember
goes,
which
do you
one.
want to see the movie? I went, no.
I'm
I
going
do
to be
not."
mad that
but
I don't remember
Megan
this.
wanted to hang out with CJ and Emily.
of course. They're great
And
people.
she said, well, we're already here. I said, no, I don't want to see any other garbage. I want to see Spider-Man. I don't want to see that. I don't even know what that movie's about. And it sounds stupid. But we ended up
I would
doing
rather
it
read a book.
because Megan wanted her popcorn and wanted to
Yeah.
eat it in a movie theater. So we went and we watched it. And as I sat down, I was mumble grumble complaining because I wanted to see Spider-Man.
Of course.
I'd never heard of Baby Driver before.
Oh, it was Baby Driver. That's right.
And it ended up being my number one film
So
of
wait.
2017 and best film of the decade.
All right, listen, and best film of the decade. I remember
Best
that.
film of the
No, I
decade.
completely. I do remember that. Now, here's my question. I did not realize the mumble grumble was happening at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And the best scene of Baby Driver is the very beginning, arguably. The first 5 minutes, I told this story. I was watching the TV on mute at the barbershop and getting my hair cut, and I was like, "What is this scene that won't cut?" And it's just one long oneer that contiguously is going, and that's what made me want to watch it. So, was your mumble grumble done after the first 5 minutes when you saw that incredible opening?
Absolutely.
So instantly changed
Absolutely.
your-
I got where they're going, and I started laughing, and then laughing more, and
Yeah.
laughing more. Not because it was, there are funny parts, but I started laughing. I'm going, I kept telling Megan,
believe
I
how
cannot
good this
believe
is.
how good this movie is. And I
You're-
was like, no. And I was like, this movie's great. And it kept building.
Yeah, your bad attitude got Thanos snapped out of existence.
Oh, it did.
Just
It
like
really
that.
did. It really did. I was just blown away, scene after scene.
Yeah.
Solid movie
Solid.
front to back. I've watched it recently this year. Still love it.
It's a triumph, man. It's great.
It's unbelievably good. What a masterpiece, but had zero desire.
Less than zero desire.
Was bummed about I didn't go see my Spider-Man that day. But
I wonder how many people have never seen Baby Driver because they were watching Spider-Man that day instead.
a lot of people probably. But,
Do yourself a favor, man.
Yeah, watch it. It's excellent. Can't believe it.
What a great pick.
So let us know what your top 5 is. What 5 movies surprised you?
Even one movie, I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, even one movie. That's true.
And I'm really curious on the backstory. Like, it's every movie we came up with has a unique
story, yeah.
moment to it as to why we didn't want to see it, and I like that. I like that a lot.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it. When you went to go see these movies, did you see them every Saturday?
Morning?
Samo Flange?